This is Scott Vanderplu, and you're listening to the Artist Edition Index Podcast, episode 55.
I went down to the St. James Infirmary, found my baby there, stretched out on a long white table, so sweet, so cold, so fast.
Thank you for joining me once more, where we take a monthly look at all things AE, everything that's happened at the Artist Edition Index website at aeindex.org, and to the best of my ability, bring it to life. All right. We're still in the grips of COVID, shipping delays everywhere, no real announcements, no real news even as far as Artist Editions go. But we have movement. We're moving forward. It's the end of another month. So let's get into it. Let's talk about shipping changes, because that's always the sad news, isn't it? We got 3 changes this month. So EC Covers Artist Edition slipped to September 1st. That was a big slip because it was the beginning of July. So September 1st is quite a move. Stranko Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Artisan Edition has moved to September 29th. And John Basemas Marvel Heroes Artist Edition has moved to November 3rd. So that's sad too. So we got a 2-month slip on EC Covers. We got a month on Basema Marvel Heroes. So I assume it's all related to shipping issues coming out of Asia and landing in North America. So I see a lot of books slipping. That's just to be expected. That's the norm, unfortunately, for now. Let's hope these books don't slip anymore. So I definitely want to see these 2 artist editions in 2021. It's been a really slim year as far as books released, so let's hope these make it. That's funny. I've only got 4 books listed in upcoming books. There are a few more books announced. Not really announced. That's the thing. They've shown up on, say, the Penguin Random House distribution. That's John Buscema's Silver Surfer Artisan Edition for next year. And 2 books. One book we talked about previously. Another book. 2000 AD Rebellion has been announcing their 45th anniversary plans. And 2 of those plans are, one, the previously discussed Brian Boland Judge Dredd, or I don't know if it's Brian Boland Judge Dredd Apex Edition or Brian Boland Apex Edition. It's not really clear, and it's 45th anniversary details. Sorry, you can go to the 2080 website and look under the news, and you'll see it. I have not put it up on the website yet. The second item that's now listed as, they're listing it as February 2022. So that's nice. Previously, they had made the announcement, shown the cover, and then asked people if they had artwork. The second Apex Edition, which was just announced in this press release, is Mick McMahon Apex Edition. So that's doing his early work. That's the artist who first drew Judge Dredd. Had a lot of early work in 2000 AD, and so expect that in October. So that's some interesting news. I had seen that on Bleeding Cool, and then our good friend of the site, David Jacoy, had sent me the link as well to the 2000 AD press release, so thanks for that. All right. That's really the only news for this month. We got some reader mail, which is always exciting. Wayne Allen Herald heard the last podcast. Thanks for listening, Wayne. And sent me the cover to the P. Craig Russell Symbolist Fantasies and Other Things Fine Art Edition, so that was exciting. I was glad to get that and put that on the site, so we have the official cover. I like to have the images so people can see. What else? Had some other things. Let's see. I think I'm going to Baltimore. First con I've been to in a while. I was there in 2019, maybe 2018. No, I think it was 2019. No, it was 2018. And I see it's there. I see a lot of the same people are going to be there again. I had a good time. They have Frank Miller there again, but it's like $100 for a signature or $300 for a 5 signature package. I'm not paying that for a signature. Forget it. It's ridiculous. Applied for the press pass. They could not give me a press pass. Understood. I'm a small player. I get it. They probably have limited capacity this year because of how things are going. Maybe not. I don't know. But I think I'm going to attend with my son. So October, I should have some posts about that. I'll probably be bringing artist editions with me again. See what hasn't been signed. I think Walter Simonson is listed as being there again. I think I got 3 or 4 signed last time. I can get the rest signed. And otherwise just look around. I don't collect a lot of things anymore. I look for... I still get treasuries, Marvel and DC treasuries. I like large books, clearly. But we'll see what happens. I think it's more just a trip to get away. I'm in southern Ontario, Canada, and we're still in lockdown. So we're hoping that'll come up. We're hoping the border opens because currently border's closed. So lots of things to happen. All right, let's get to what happened on the site this month. All right, I put up an artifacts for June 1st, and that's boy, I'm just mumbling today. All right, the John Basemas Marvel Heroes Artist Edition had a retailer preview that I was privy to, and in that preview was the entire book, so it's nice looking. It's well worth getting, everybody. I think anybody interested in John Buscema and Avengers should, Thor, we should definitely pick this book up. So out of that, I posted the table of contents to the site. I didn't want to do anything else. I don't want to... They put the retailer out. I just wanted to give this information out to people to see what's in the book. So lots of exciting things coming up in that. 3 full issues, Avengers 51, Submariner 24, Thor 197, which is nice. Except that Thor 197 I have in that other John Buscema gallery catalog, which is disappointing. That had the Conan and the Thor in it. So now one of those is being redone. So we'll see how the presentation is. It's going to be larger in this book anyways. So that's a bit disappointing, but what are you going to do? Other news, those 2 exhibition catalogs from the Society of Illustrators I reviewed a couple months ago, they're $10 each right now from the Society of Illustrators. So one was 20, one was 30 or 40. So $10 each, that's pretty great. Order up 2. Yes, I had some complaints about them, but they're still nice catalogs for, $20 combined. So well worth getting. We had another shipping update from Janelle Rood regarding Nexus: The Coming of Grimmondo Deluxe. And that's, shipping. Shipping. That seems to be the plague of anything coming from anywhere, it seems, right now. So, and then we had a crowdfunding, which was... Wayne Allen Herald has launched a Kickstarter campaign for the P. Craig Russell's Symbolist Fantasies and Other Things book. He's been doing this the last couple of years, where there's one on Kickstarter, one on Indiegogo. It has been almost a year since the Indiegogo campaign. And with COVID and everything else, him and Craig were delayed on getting this book done. So, completely understand. Those of us who bought it last year are waiting with bated breath. And now it is available on Kickstarter if you're so inclined. Prices are up a little more, so it's always better to get in early, right? They're up about $25. So, interesting. All right, lots of good stories in this book. If you're a P. Craig Russell fan, if you're a fan, they're worth getting, right? I have them all, obviously. But I would still have bought them all even if I wasn't getting every artist edition. There are artist editions I would not have bought had I not been running the site. Absolutely. Ross Andrew, for one. And there's a bunch of others, but that's all right. Anyway, this book should be out for December 2021. There's regular editions. There's signed editions. There were some sketch editions still available. There's some original artwork available. So these are always great if you're... if you've got deeper pockets and you want to get some original art. This is a good way to get P. Craig Russell art for sure. So jump on that if you have not funded the Indiegogo campaign. Get on this and get yourself another awesome book. These are just wonderful. And I really like that the books always cover large time periods from Russell. Like it's never just, his last 3 works or something, or a period. This book starts in 78, goes to 85, 88, And then we see some things, 2013, 2014, 2015. So good stuff all around. That's the crowdfunding update for this month. All right, we had the AE Index poll. Again, from our good friend and supporter of the site, David Jacoy, Patreon patron. Always provides the questions and the people normally for the polls. Here's his question this month. These creators are some of the most acclaimed comic artists ever. Their careers in comics are over 90 years, with this character from the 1920s to the 2000s. Throughout all those years, their hallmarks have been a mastery of sequential storytelling and exceptionally fine drawing. The exceptional artistic achievements of these amazing artists shine on Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan. Who among them deserves the AE treatment? So, which artists deserve the AE treatment? We got John Solardo, Hal Foster, Bern Hogarth, Russ Manning, Gray Morrow. And I put a note in the thing that Kubert already has 3 Tarzan Arts editions, so Joe Kubert is not part of this. And I had never heard of John Solardo before I went to Heritage. That's where I normally get the images, and pulled those up. Wow, Solardo's art is really great. I'm sorry I have not seen a collection of Tarzan strips from Solardo. Really good stuff. I brought out the art at all, if I was ranking, I voted for Bern Hogarth. I love Hal Foster, I really do. But Hogarth and his originals, they're just so dynamic, and the muscles and just the structure and his inking. I love it. Hogarth original all the way, just amazing. After that, I'd go Foster, and then I'd go Solardo, and then Manning and Morrow. I'm not a big Gray Morrow fan on this stuff. It looks okay. And the Manning's always been a very clean, look. I'm not a huge fan of Russ Manning, so there's that as well. So there's your votes right now. If you're a fan of this stuff and you want to get collected editions, Titan did 5 volumes of Bern Hogarth recently. Those are great. I reviewed those on ebabble.net. There's 4 volumes of Tarzan from Russ Manning from IDW's Library of American Comics. They're not too hard to get. There's 3 volumes of Hal Foster's Tarzan from Dark Horse. Those are hard to get. And they're also big and $125 each, US. I've seen them at some discount stores, so it's always possible. And then, like I said, I haven't seen a John Solardo collection or a Gray Morrow collection. So, checking the voting here, Foster's leading with 26 votes. Hogarth with 23, Manning with 13, Gray Morrow with 5, and John Solardo with 2. Is everybody looking at the art from Solardo that I posted? Because it is pretty great. I don't know how you're not voting for Solardo there. Anyway, I know you can only have one, so that's your vote. Unless you want to go vote somewhere else. So if you vote at home, you could, I track by IP address, so you could probably, vote at work and get a different vote in. But, don't try and do that. What is that? Stuff in the ballot box, right? Don't do that. Thanks. All right. Let's talk out of print sales. Now, this is an interesting month. We've seen eBay sales going crazy. We've seen some really high prices. And this month, I'm seeing some leveling out, some tempering of prices on some things, and some things still going a bit crazy. So, let's talk sales. And I please apologize for my sniffling. I don't know how, but the allergies hit me this morning and are driving me crazy. So a lot of zeros this month, where we had books we've seen sales of steadily, nothing this month. So I don't want to single those out, but please have a look. All right, so Best of EC Comics Volume 1 sale, $2.99. Best of EC Artist Edition Volume 2 is now on the list, and that was an average of $122.49. One copy of Conan Red Nails Original Art Archives, $180. That's on the list too. A lot of things have been added to the list recently because of sellouts and things. Diamond no longer having stock, and there's Graffiti Designs gallery editions on here now because their move to Lunar from Diamond, and then Lunar has a limited selection. And unfortunately, I've emailed Graffiti Designs, and I've previously had some nice conversations with Bob Chapman. But I've emailed them twice over the past month and have not heard anything back. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. All right, but deviation there. Dave Cockram's X-Men Artifact Edition, 3 copies sold for an average of $130.19. One copy of Dave Stevens' Rocketeer Artist Edition first print sold for $200. One copy of the second print sold for $225. One copy of ElfQuest Gallery Edition sold for $149.95. One copy of Fantagraphics Studio Edition Black Hole sold for $119.99. One copy of the Hal Foster's Prince Valiant Studio Edition sold for $148.50. One copy of Frank Miller's Daredevil Artifact Edition sold for $199.98. One copy of Frank Miller's Sin City: The Hard Goodbye Curators Collection sold for $129.43. So we're seeing undercover prices again. We're seeing volumes much lower. Gil Kane's Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition, 4 copies sold for an average of $126.35. One copy of Jack Kirby's The Mighty Thor Artist Edition sold for $85. One copy of Jim Lee DC Legends Artifact Edition sold for $125. One copy of Jim Starlin's Marvel Cosmic Artifact Edition sold for $130. One copy of Joe Kubert's Tarzan and the Apes sold for $99. One copy of John Buscema's Silver Surfer sold for $149.95. One copy of John Byrne's Fantastic Four sold for $100. One copy of John Byrne's X-Men Artifact Edition sold for $461.87. I mean, this is the regular edition. I don't get it. Is the demand that insane for this book? This is what I mean. We're seeing a lot of, we're seeing numbers down. We're seeing a lot of these settling back down to below cover prices, and then you see something like this. Not making a lot of sense right now. One copy of John Romita's The Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition sold for $130.50. One copy of The Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition Volume 2 sold for $159. One copy of Lone Wolf and Cub Gallery Edition sold for $275. There's a book that's really staying up high. One copy of Marvel Covers Artist Edition First Print sold for $117.50. One copy of Michael Golden's Micronauts Artist Edition sold for $300. One copy of Mike Mignola's The Amazing Screw on Head and Other Curious Objects Artist Edition sold for $99.99. 2 copies of Sam Keith's The Max Artist Edition sold for $179.47. One copy of Sergio Aragona's Gru the Wanderer sold for $165. 2 copies of Spawn Vault Edition sold for an average of $257.83. And 2 copies of Vault Edition 2 sold for an average of $296.25. One copy of Star Wars Artifact Edition sold for $85. 3 copies of Star Wars Dark Times Gallery Edition sold for an average of $42. 3 copies of Steranko Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Artist Edition First Print sold for an average of $203. We haven't seen movement like on that book in quite a while. And it's interesting to see that movement is coming within months of the Artisan Edition about to be released. One copy of the Book of Ballads Original Art Edition sold for $60.83. One copy of The Prisoner Original Art Edition sold for $138.50. One copy of Usagi Yojimbo Samurai and Other Stories Gallery Edition sold for $200. I don't get that. That book is consistently sold for $100 or less. And now, boom, one copy, $200. And, I checked the auction because it was hard to believe. It was selling from a comic shop, no box, opened. So, that's interesting. All right, one copy of Wally Wood's EC Stories Artist Edition First Print sold for $824.99. Ridiculous. I don't know what's going on there. It's a third artist edition, but I guess that's what happens. 2 copies of the second print sold for an average of $396.49. Ouch. One copy of Walter Simonson's The Mighty Thor Artist Edition sold for $81. Below cover. I don't know what happened there. One copy of Will Eisner's A Contract with God Curious Collection sold for $139.99, well below cover. And one copy of Will Eisner's The Spirit Artist Edition sold for $199. Now, as I've added the high price index there to my list and what has been new. So what was crazy this month? Bill Sienkiewicz's Mutants and Moon Knights and Assassins, the signed edition of the Artifact, sold for $4.99. David Mazzucchelli's Devil Born Again, signed edition, that sold for $1,664.99. One copy of John, that doesn't beat the Romita Remarked for $1,800. And we talked about the Wood first print for $824.99. There was a signed Jim Lee for $7.99. We've talked about that previously. And that John Byrne's X-Men Artifact Edition for $461. I'm not getting these. Who's paying these? That's a lot of money. When I see things like that, I think to myself, should I be selling mine? I think, this is always what I do. I hold on to the book until it's not worth anything again. Oh well. All right. While we're talking, I would like to mention, and I should mention it, there are 3 ways to support the Artist Edition Index. The first is to be a Patreon patron. You can sign up for $1 or whatever you're feeling. $1 a minimum. And it can be in your currency, which is nice too. And that just helps keep the lights on. It goes towards me with a book buying budget. I'll be honest with you, if I did not have the means of support for this site, I would not be buying the extra books. The catalogs, the French editions that I'm buying now to keep the site going and to keep the reviews going and to keep the site interesting. Those would just all be out of my reach. But I'm thankful for the support. And like I said, Patreon's great that way. Second way is to use the affiliate links on the site. There are links for Things from Another World. There are links for eBay. There are links for Amazon. All those I get a percentage. And A-Books as well. Forbidden Planet. I'm going to add Biblio as well, along with A-Books. So all options. When you click on that, I get anywhere between, I think, 1 and 10%, depending on who you go with. So that's greatly appreciated as well. And the third way to support the site, and one that I could not remember last month for the life of me, is the store. I put up the store a few months ago. I've had some sales. It's been pretty good. I've added some new things. I've tried to give his description as much as possible. I'm not sure if would photos help people. I've lowered the prices. I started off pretty well, and then I've been stagnant. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books listed on the site right now. It goes between Jeff Smith's Bone, the Great Cow Race Artist Edition, and for $75. Still shrink wrapped, no box. I go up to a shrink wrapped in the box David Mazzucchelli's Daredevil Born Again Artist Edition for $275. So that's my variants. I have a Mighty Thor first print. I've got a Usagi Yojimbo Samurai and Other Stories. I've got a signed Fantagraphic Studio Edition Jaime Hernandez. So pretty great stuff. Shipping's not too bad. I can ship over the border to the U.S. for about $11 US, which is pretty great because I can use media mail. There's a pickup in Southern Ontario here. There's several pickups, but there's one I use that's good. And then I've been shipping in Canada for not too bad. I think about 30 or a little bit under. And then, worldwide options, unfortunately, if you live overseas and you order from North America, you know what it's like. Because I'm experiencing the opposite of that, living in Canada and trying to order from France and Belgium. So, you know where I'm coming from there. But if you want it, you got to pay the shipping, right? And that's how it goes. All right, enough about me and the site. Let's talk reviews. I've got 2 reviews this month, both French books. I had ordered them both actually from Collector BD, which is my new favorite place to order from Europe. They don't have an affiliate, so that's sad. So I certainly like to be getting a percentage of sales, but a really great site. All right, so let's talk Le Prisonnier du Bouddha l'Integral. So that is a Spiro and Fantasio story by Franquin. And it is, Franquin, Greg, and Jean Roba. And it's from Marsu Productions, which is the company that Franquin started. And his stuff appears. I'm not sure how the licensing or what goes on. I know he's got his own company. And that was I believe he's passed away. Had his own company, and previously we've reviewed a Franquin book that was from Dupuis, and I've got another one actually, and there's a third one from Dupuis that I may be ordering. I love looking at Franquin original art. I'm still not able to read it, but it's pretty great. All right, let's get into the blurb here. This album from the VO collection, Version Original, is made up of reproductions of original boards by Andre Franquin, keeping their original aspect. The lines are printed not in black and white, but in color. Many new details then appear, as if you were at the master's drawing board. The yellowed paper, the remains of pencils under the oily ink, the retouching with white gouache, the notes in the margins, the printed blue lines, which serves as staves for the lettering. Everything has been preserved for an unprecedented exploration of the work of Franquin. The VO collection approaches the universe of Spiro and Fantasio story by story by presenting all the plates published in the beautiful Journal of Spiro, including strips or pages which sometimes are not included in the general public album. It also offers all the graphic, illustration, advertisements, and editorial elements published in the magazine in parallel with each adventure of the Groom en Rouge. So that's Spiro in his red bellhop uniform. All right, Marsu Productions, September 2013. 31 by 43 centimeters. I did not look that up in inches. I was doing that earlier, and I thought, it's in centimeters. I'm Canadian. I should be doing things in centimeters as well. I understand whatever book. Hey, if it's published in the U.S., then we got inches. But this book's published in Europe. It's in centimeters. It's 119 euros, and it's available from a lot of places, actually, still in print. I put links for Amazon France and Collector BD. It's a well-designed, very attractive book. It's got a cloth spine, really nice paper. And it's interesting to see, I guess, how Spiro was done. Each issue had, I don't know, each issue, I think it's each issue, had, had 3 plates, basically. So you had a 3/4 page, and then you had 2 half pages. And I guess I've never seen an issue of Spiro outside of what's included in the back of these. So they look pretty great. So apparently, so Spiro would appear in the magazine. And then Spiro was collected they would collect the individual issues in hardcovers, and then they would put out an album collecting the entire story. And when they did an album with the entire story, they would cut it up, redo the art, and then it would flow smoothly, right? There would be no breaks in the pages. So this is how the art was originally drawn for the individual issues of Spiro magazine. The art presents amazingly well. This just Franklin's ability is just stunning, and to look at the characters, I mean, it's an appreciation, right? It's funny. I started off, as a young comic reader. I did not like the cartoony or the long clair, the clean line look. As I got older, I appreciated it more and more, and it seemed to appreciate more the European artists more and more. If I'm thinking of a North American example, it'd have to be Darwin Cook. Somebody's art I didn't really get right away. And as it goes, I like it more and more. I mean, Yves Chalon is another one. And, of course, Franklin. So it's a really interesting presentation. These books are always numbered, which is something I like about the European editions. It's something special. This is a special book. It's a lot of money. So why not celebrate it? Why not make it limited? If you've got a 2,000 print run, make it special. This has got a print run of 2,040 volumes. I'm assuming they say 100 were not for sale, numbered 1 to 100, 100 to 100. So those are probably publisher specials or APs, right? Artist proofs, publisher proofs. But so this volume is numbered 1862. It's numbered in pencil inside. So I've got something special. Right, I've got a limited number. 2,000, that's a big number, right? Absolutely. Yet most artist editions are less than 2,000. But we don't make, in North America, they're not making any attempt to make these books special or limited, right? North American publishers don't even want to give the print run information away, like it's a big secret, right? Oh, we print 1 million copies. Is that how you want to make it sound special? I don't think so. You want to make it special, make it a limited edition, right? Limited of what? Doesn't matter. Just limited it. Let people know that this is something special, something wonderful. All right, jumping off my soapbox now. We get an introduction in the book, which is great. It shows a page of Spiro, so you get an idea of how the art was. It's nice. I'm using Google Translate to try and read the paragraphs, and it's hit and miss. I really got to get on that the French more. So the pages are quite yellowed, which to be expected. I mean, they're 70 years old or more, but like I said, the art presents really well. There are some pages. I think there's 5. Let me check my note here. Yes, 5 pieces are not original art, so they did a pretty good job with those as well. And then you get through the story. There's some paste-ins. There's, like I said, the correction fluid. There's lines for the word balloons. Nice inks. They show some gradients. And then they do some interesting things, right? They list a bibliography, so they tell you every issue that these appeared in, and then they start giving you pages from the actual magazines, which are great. You get to see, again, how they looked, right? And then there are some advertisements from the Spiro magazine talking about the material. There's some pages from a calendar in the magazine, and then at the back, after that, we get the original covers, which are pretty great, right? So we get some Spiro covers. We get some of the album covers, which is, like I said, the collected, where they'd collect a series of issues, and then we'd get it's just wonderful. I did a video walkthrough of it. It looks very nice, and definitely worth having a look at. Please go to the site, check it out. If you're a fan of Franklin, I would definitely recommend this volume. If you're a fan of art in general, have a look for it, please. It's quite stunning. All right, second book this month that I reviewed. This was something I had seen on a website and didn't pick it up because I kept trying to get it from a Canadian website and they never had it in stock. And then they, it was $35 and they did free shipping over $40. So I was like, ugh. Shipping in Canada is quite expensive. So I thought, well, do I want to buy this? So then they didn't have it in stock again, and then I was looking on Collector BD, and I was already ordering 2 books. I thought, I'll get this book. This is Les Trois Formules de Professeur Sato Découpage original. So the 3 formulas of Professor Sato. Let me give you the blurb. The 3 formulas of Professor Sato is the story of Blake and Mortimer in 2 volumes. This is the last adventure of these characters, realized by Edgar P. Jacobs. Jacobs began the story, which will make up volumes 11 and 12 of the series, in 1972. He wrote the full script, but due to health problems, he stopped drawing. He died in 1987, leaving his work unfinished. 3 years later, the publisher asked another cartoonist, Bob Demure, to finish this Blake and Mortimer adventure from the script and sketches left by Edgar P. Jacobs. Readers have had to wait 18 years before knowing the end of the story. In Professor Sato's 3 formulas, Philip Mortimer, who is in Japan, finds himself embroiled in a story of technology theft. He must help his friend, Professor Sato, a scientist specializing in cybernetics and robotics. It won't be long before you realize that Ulrich is behind the story. Mortimer therefore decides to call Francis Blake to come and lend him a hand. Discover in this book the complete breakdown of the story made by Edgar P. Jacobs before he died. The pages are exactly as the author left them, with his annotations, corrections, collages, etc. The drawings are more or less developed. Some boxes are inked, while others are barely sketched, with only the most important details, position of the character, the composition of the box, etc. A magnificent book which gives us a good overview of Jacobs' talent and his way of working. This was released in 2015. It's 23.7 by 31 centimeters, 112 pages. It's 19.99 euros. So in Canada, about 30 Canadian. I don't know what that is in US. This is an interesting book. So apparently Blake and Mortimer have a series of books that deal with not just the stories, but there's a whole series of books that deal with the extras. So this is one of those extras books. I've seen no interiors of any of the others, really. There's a book that appears to be a sketchbook of Edgar P. Jacobs, who created Blake and Mortimer. I'm not as big a fan of the later artists. I like the original. I've read some of them. Jacobs is really wordy. There's a lot of dialogue and text in these books. But the presentation of this book, again, wonderful. So it's a hardcover. And the paper is thick, but it I don't know how to describe it. It weighs very little. It really reminds me of those Jack Kirby omnibus books. When they first released them, they were doing that faux newsprint, and the book weighed almost nothing. It felt like this is the same, except the paper is quite nice. It's white, presents the artwork really well. And it's interesting to see Jacobs' artwork like this. Because when they say finished, I mean, I don't see any inks in this book, really. It looks to me like black pencil. He colored the book with pencil crayons. A lot of color. Yeah, like he colored Mortimer's hair. Mortimer's got a red hair and a beard. He colors it in every panel of the first story. So I'm sorry, I should back up there. The book contains 2 albums. I think that was mentioned in the blurb. Albums 11 and 12. So 11 he completed, it looks like. And from this, you get to see mostly completed pages, but it's an interesting how they're completed because they're not fully rendered. All the pencils are there, but you will see that there are. It's not finished. I don't know. You know what? This is what I mean. It's really hard to tell about finishes. I don't know how or who colored or how it went, but this is in part of the process for sure. So they look great. And then the album 12, which is the one that he did not. He did the full script. He's got the script laid out on the pages, and he's got pencil breakdowns, very rough. But he's got the full thing here, and I guess that's how the next artist was able to come in and finish it. So, very nice production, but it's so interesting to see this process. This is something I haven't seen before. And I'm glad I was able to spot this on a website and then be able to pick it up. Really worth getting if you're a fan of Blake and Mortimer, or if you like original art, if you like the style, again, the Linga Claire art. I'm not sure he's maybe a little more detailed than, but very clean lines. Great artist and great material. So thanks for listening to me this month. You can catch me at scott@aindex.org. I love to answer questions, so please ask me anything about artist editions, and I will try to answer them. I am also active. I'm asking a question this month. I am looking, I put it on the forum, but I have not really gotten detailed answers. I'm looking to know when the bande dessinée began producing AE format style books. I'm looking for, so obviously the first one in, we saw one in North America in 2009. The artist edition line started in 2010. When did these start in Europe, where it was a collection of original art, like not the Tintin Afra or Alpha, where it's, they've gathered up Hergé's roughs for the last, material, sort of like this Blake and Mortimer book, but something where they present, original art boards scanned in a collected edition. So what is the earliest ones you're aware of? If you could please email me, scott@aindex.org. I would love to know that. I'm trying to get more of a history. I would like to get some more details about Europe. Unfortunately, I'm so far behind and I don't speak the language. I'm never going to get a full grasp of what's happening or what has been released in Europe. I can only hope to pick up the occasional volume and just enjoy the French artists as best I can. Again, everything's on the website, aindex.org. And if you really want to know what's happening on the site, go to the site. At the bottom of every page, you can sign up for the newsletter. It goes out every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and you get updates from the website. So if you want to know what's happening but don't want to be invested too much, sign up for the newsletter. Well worth getting. All right, thanks, and we'll talk again next month.
Let her go, God bless her. Wherever she may be, she can search this wide world over. She'll never find a sweet man like me.